WWE loves records, and that makes sense. You can use them as a marketing tool, essentially to plug your wares. That is the whole point of the business. There's the word. If you are a nerd like me, you can start looking into these as well, and maybe some aren't quite the boast they may appear to be on paper. And these are the ones that fans discuss the most. So I am Simon Miller, and let's go. Number 10, Chris Jericho's 311-day Intercontinental title record. Chris Jericho held the IC title 9 times. That is incredible, especially if we take a step back and remember you are booked to win such accolades. It means on almost 10 different occasions, WWE felt like Jericho was the guy. This is very cool. The reason the record gets kicked about a bit is based on how the company used to approach such reigns. Despite Chris having won this more than anybody else in history, his combined reign total is 311 days. That's less than 1 year. Vince McMahon was mad. There's evidence this was going to be the way from day one too. When Jericho defeated China in December 1999, he only held it for 22 days. His 6th reign in October 2003 started and ended on the same episode of Raw. What are we doing? It stands out today because Gunther held the championship for 666 days. That summarizes how much things have changed and why the belt itself had to be rehabbed eventually. I, for one, am very happy about this. I love the Intercontinental title, and if it wasn't weird, I'd probably marry it. Number 9, Goldberg's championship reigns. Because the man had held a world title in 4 different decades, that's just incredible. It's why we should be a little bit more respectful, but of course, Bill won the WCW title in the 90s, the WWE title in the 2000s, and the Universal Championship in 2017. Throw in another of those in 2020 and boom, there you go. I think it's the last one that turned the tide on this record because, yeah, Goldberg defeated The Fiend for that belt, and that was a mistake. Nobody wanted to see it. It was also a mess because the only reason we did the switch is so that we could have Bill versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then the pandemic ruined all of that. Either way, it would have been an error because fans were so pleased to see Bray Wyatt finally get his, but we also do need to take a step back at the same time. This is a super impressive record, as we keep talking about, does not happen by accident. Number 8, Vince McMahon is the oldest WWE champion. I mean, forget the old part. Vince McMahon being the WWE champion wasn't that great. It was during a time where anything went and we found the line. McMahon was 54 years old in 1999 when he sort of defeated Triple H for this gold. I don't think anybody minded Vince stepping in the ring and having some matches because they were fun, but this was stupid, and let's face it, this record may never change. I mean, the only person currently close is The Rock, but even then, he's such a box office attraction, he doesn't need a championship. And doing that now could also rock the boat a lot, no pun intended. I don't think it's worth it. So while records are meant to be broken, this one may last forever. That sort of shows how silly it was. Although sometimes you can get silly and it comes across the opposite because, number 7, Nicholas is the youngest WWE champion in history. I mean, how can you hate this? Do you not like fun? The thing is, every time we do talk about it, people shout their rage. Nicholas was just 10 years old when he won the World Tag Team Championship alongside Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 34, and I truly thought it was wonderful. If you don't know, it was after Braun decided to wreck the tag team scene by himself and only got a partner when forced to. That's where the real beef should be. We just looked at a whole division and acted like it was second rate. Raw general manager Kurt Angle still told Strowman that if he wanted to face the bar at WrestleMania, he had to find somebody. And this guy, he waited till the evening of the fight and then just grabbed a chant from the crowd. I think that's illegal. I suppose it's just too sports entertainment for some, and I do get that. You really are getting rid of anything to do with reality. Given that WWE has changed hugely ever since then too, this is another one. I mean, is a 9-year-old going to win a belt? It seems unlikely. Number 6, Roman Reigns defended the Universal title 33 times. It is all about numbers with this one. I mean, even the other wrestlers were mad. They used to talk about it on Raw and SmackDown all the time. But Roman Reigns destroyed modern-day records as the Universal Champion, but at the same time, there was controversy. It all started at Payback 2020 when he defeated The Fiend and Braun Strowman before beating John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens. There were a bunch more too, and none of them could take out our tribal chief. When it was all said and done, though, it turned out this was a case of less being more, because in 1,316 days, Roman only defended this gold 33 times. I mean, that's kind of amazing. It's why this is such a hotbed of chat, because some fans don't think that was enough. It certainly helped Roman's aura, but as his record was in and among the likes of Hulk Hogan and Bruno Sammartino, there are individuals that are keen to point out the amount of matches does not come close. Let us play devil's advocate for 1 second, though, because if we had have increased these, would Reigns have had the power he went on to eventually have? I mean, business-wise, it didn't hurt. So that's one for the comments, but yeah, it most definitely winds certain fans up. Number 5, Rey Mysterio has the shortest WWE title reign. So it sucks that it's Rey Mysterio who has this because he is a legend. That said, I think most of us could have handled it if it wasn't for the insane booking. It was July 2011, and as CM Punk had won the WWE title at Money in the Bank and run away, well, now we needed a new champion. Makes sense. Mysterio was able to win a tournament by defeating The Miz in the finals on Raw, and fans were super happy. We all love Rey. He's one of the GOATs. From nowhere, though, John Cena arrived, challenged Rey for later that night, and of course he won the belt from him. This guy was meant to be our top babyface too. Talk about putting Mysterio in an impossible situation. Rey had already fought once. It also meant that Mysterio's reign lasted like 2 hours. Yeah, that is super short. I suppose the spin is before this Rey had only won the World Heavyweight Championship, so at least he got to add the other one to his name. It does feel so backward though. WWE didn't want John Cena to get booed as much as he was during this period. Well, I can tell you, this was not the way to change that. Number 4, John Cena hasn't won a TV match in like 2,000 plus days. Now there is truth to this, but I suppose that's the issue. It's wrestling, so it's not all the truth. By the time you hear this, I'm sure that record has finished, but yeah, in terms of televised singles matches, John Cena hasn't really won one since 2018. That was during the Greatest Royal Rumble against Triple H. From there it has been a roller coaster, but here's the twist. If this had been the case 7 years ago, fans wouldn't have cared. Now they most definitely do. This is because in the modern day, John has become so beloved, quite rightfully, that the audience is desperate to see him win and get this albatross off his back. I assume it will happen when he is able to claim his 17th world title, because that's wrestling. Tell me the obvious story. It is so wild to see the tides turn though, but it is much deserved. Without John, I've no idea where WWE would be today, and now, to use the worst term, we all want to give him his flowers. That is why he will likely retire on top, which is not traditionally the way to go out. Things have changed though, man. And if you can't see it, well, you could be living in the past. As always, just give the audience what they want. Number 3, WWE's highest gate. Like, why should we actually care? I don't mean that in a cruel way. Looking into WWE numbers and finances is super interesting, but I don't think it needs to be something fans lap up. Sometimes WWE is just telling you, haha, we charged you a lot of money. And look, that comes down to worth, and if crowds are buying into the point of selling out buildings, then tickets were priced correctly. There's a different video for a different day. Recently though, WWE does like to walk around boasting how they're smashing gate records all over the place. Look at WrestleMania 40. It broke WrestleMania 39's $21.6 million all-time gate record, and 41 will break 40's. It's going to be this way for a while. There is no point pretending some people don't love this because you do see it online all the time, but there is the opposite as well. This is something for stockholders to cheer about, not the dude in the 45th row who spent $300 on their seat. Again though, vote with your wallet, and if you are happy with all of this, then that's fine. It is your money. It is still how it works, however. Number 2, CM Punk and 434 days. That is right. From November 2011 through to January 2013, CM Punk was the WWE champion for a long old time. It was awesome. It was the run fans had wanted for ages, and Punk deserved it. He had put himself in this position by having a groundbreaking 2011. There really was nowhere else to go. Why the crowd gets upset though is because how it ended. We all thought this was going to finish at WrestleMania, especially because Punk made it all the way to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. We were so close, and then he got beaten by The Rock. CM himself has spoken about this too, because he felt like even if WWE was going back to Rocky vs. John Cena, why not make it an elimination triple threat, and you could even get rid of Punk in like 5 minutes? He may have been right. I think most are fine with it now because Punk has returned to right these wrongs. You don't have to hang your entire life on this. But at the same time, though, I tell you, sheesh, it was all over the place. Number 1, 21-1. Amazingly, this now happened over a decade ago. It was WrestleMania 30. Where does the time go? The reason that's important is because the argument hasn't calmed down. In the sense, was Brock Lesnar the right man to end the Undertaker's Mania streak? It's more difficult now because of real-life proceedings, but if we focus on the story, I think it works. Because while Brock didn't need it from a star power point of view, he did jump off this streak and became a monster for 10 years. The destruction of Cena, multiple world title reigns, feeling like the final boss. Do not forget when he first came back to WWE, his booking was all over the place. We had him lose a lot because he needed to be punished. or something. As soon as he had ended the dead man at the show of shows, though, there was no looking back. He was always the guy, even when he wasn't on TV. He became Poochie. We all should be talking about Brock Lesnar. It's also a record that will never go away because you have multiple viewpoints. Some people think the streak never should have been ended at all, whereas others don't understand why a young up-and-comer didn't get this spot instead. The further we do move away from it, of course, the less it will be chatted about. But when it does arise, man, people lose their minds. Makes it even crazier that this was decided on the day of the event. Imagine we had built this better and planted that seed in your brain. Once again, though, that's a different video for a different day. Know of any other records that wind you up across all of professional wrestling? Make sure you leave us a comment below before you like the video, share the video, and why not subscribe? You can also click the video on the screen to get even more information in your brain about professional wrestling, but otherwise, my friends, you take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you again very soon.